now. And this is just to keep on our websites for you all to revisit, or for people that couldn't join us today to learn as well. So great, thank you. My name is Kelsey Bakke. I am the Public Relations Manager at WHRO. I'm going to throw it over to Adam to introduce himself.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Adam Corville. I'm the Director of Grants and Fellowships at Virginia Humanities. And Katie.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie Wassinger, and I also work at the Grants Program at Virginia Humanities.
Well, great. Thanks you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get started by sharing our presentation today. Okay, you can all see that, I think. Great. So welcome. We were going to talk about the Virginia Humanities at WHRO, brand new regional hub that we're very excited about. We have both entities on the phone call today, or on the Zoom today. I'm going to be admitting some people, playing a little double duty. So if you see me look away, trying to get our friends in here with us. So a lot of you know what WHRO does, but I'm going to do a quick reminder. If you didn't know, WHRO is the largest public media company in southeastern Hampton Roads. And we are actually owned by the school systems. A lot of places do not know that, but I think, are the only maybe public media station in the country owned by the school systems. So you can see our map down at the bottom of what that coverage looks like. So all the way up to the Virginia part of the Eastern Shore, to the Middle Peninsula with Middlesex, Gloucester, to James City, Williamsburg, York, all the way out to Surrey, Sussex, Southampton, and Franklin. So if you are doing work in those areas, this grant is applicable to you. WHRO has 5 television stations. You know, I imagine, I hope you do, about WHRO TV, Channel 15, WHRO World, Create, WHRO Kids, and then FNX, the First Nations Experience. We also have 5 radio stations. We have our NPR, or us, our local news, 89.5. We have our classical 90.3. We have Time Machine Radio that you can stream on our website. We have alt radio, and then we have the WHRO Voice as well. We also have a separate news entity with doing local news. You can sign up for the daily newsletter. It is part of a streaming podcast that you can listen to on our radio through our podcasts. And we also have a whole education wing, because obviously we are owned by the school systems. So we have a huge education department as well. And I'll throw it over to Adam to talk about Virginia Humanities.
Great. So for those of you that don't know Virginia Humanities already, Virginia Humanities is the State Humanities Council for the Commonwealth of Virginia. We were established in 1974 with some seed funding from the National Endowment for the Humanities. And over the last 50 years, Virginia Humanities has grown from its original mission as a grant maker to an organization with robust programming that we develop and produce and distribute across Virginia. Our programs include, in addition to our grants and fellowships, which Katie and I are here talking about today, alongside Kelsey, we create and curate Encyclopedia Virginia, which is a digital encyclopedia of Virginia history. We house an Office of Education and Community Initiatives, which works with different community organizations and educators across Virginia to bring humanities programming and history curriculum into the classrooms. We are home to the Virginia Center of the Book. We have a book art center, as well as producing the Virginia Festival of the Book. We are home to the Virginia Folklife program and the Virginia Folklorist. One of their main programs, in addition to helping to curate Richmond's Folk Fest every year, is to host apprentices and apprenticeships across Virginia in different cultural traditions to celebrate, honor, and keep different traditions alive. We also create the nationally syndicated radio show With Good Reason. And so those are some of the different initiatives, programs that we operate here under Virginia Humanities. We are part of the University of Virginia, so we are located in Charlottesville. And one of our newest initiatives is our regional humanities centers, which this program is a part of here with WHRO. And being located in Charlottesville has a lot of advantages, but we also understand the need to work more locally with communities throughout Virginia. And so we launched this past year 2 regional humanities centers, the one with WHRO, which you're learning more about today, but also one down at the college at Wise. And the intention behind these regional humanities centers is to be able to have someone affiliated with Virginia Humanities and an organization that can work directly with communities and organizations in this regional specific area to really build more deep intentional relationships with individuals and organizations. So that's the brief overview of Virginia Humanities.
Slide, sorry, just let some friends in. So as some of you are aware, Virginia Humanities has quite a lot and a lot of different grants. So I want to talk a little bit about what we've talked about the role of the Regional Humanities Center. This grant program is targeting our museums, libraries, historic sites, and other cultural nonprofits. It is awards up to $6,000 each, and I'm going to let Katie get into the actual grant and what that means in a little bit. I'm just talking about what this, if you're looking at the grants and you're wondering a different one of Virginia Humanities versus why the WHRO one might work better for you, is that we want to use those 5 television channels, or our outreach, what we have our television channels, we have our radio, we have these resources, and we can spotlight work being done in the communities. The goal is to use this as a cash grant award, but also use us to spotlight what you are doing in that community. So that benefits the the nonprofit to in like a 1-2 sort of way. So that's my best way to sum up what that benefit is. And then this helps Virginia Humanities do more work in Hampton Roads, Eastern Shore, that whole region to really connect people and spread it all around. So I'm going to go through the advisory board. Adam, Katie, and myself do not make decisions on the grant award. We pull it together, and then we pull together a very qualified advisory board we're thrilled to have on with us. So just know that we are not the decision makers of the awards. We have Brenda Andrews. She's the publisher of New Journal and Guide. These bios are going to be on our website, so you can thoroughly look into them. We have Dr. Catherine Barco-Alva. She's a professor at William & Mary and is co-director of the Scholars Undergraduate Research Experience, does a lot of work in bilingual education. We have Kelly Green Blake. She's a historian and the retired director of the National Archives Mid-Atlantic region. And she is also from on the Eastern Shore, I'm pretty sure. And some of these lovely advisory members are on the call with us, also kind of learning together, and they also wanted to see who was interested in learning more about this initiative. We have the Reverend Jan Brown, founder and executive director of Spirit Works, and she is the deacon at Bruton Parish in Williamsburg. We have Leslie Clements. She is at the Virginia Aquarium and Marine Science Center in Virginia Beach, and she works in equity, community, and learning. And then we have Dr. Felicia McBain. She is a Norfolk State University staff member, executive director for public health, and she also is the associate dean for the ODU NSU Public Health Initiative School. So that is a little bit about, and we're going to do a Q&A at the end, but it's a little bit about why WHRO, why Virginia Humanities at WHRO could be beneficial to you. And I'm going to throw it over to Katie to talk about the grant. And Katie, just tell me next slide whenever you want.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. So these grants at the Virginia Humanities at WHRO location are going to be rapid style grants. They're going to be $6,000 awards or up to that, depending on your request. The application's already open and live on our website. It opened on January 1st, and the deadline is going to be April 30th, with decisions aiming to be announced on June 16th. These projects can have a budget period from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The spends don't need to happen all year long, but need to happen within that year period. And our grants are paid out in full once the decisions are made, so we're not operating on a refund basis. You'll get that money day one. All right, you want to move on, Kelsey, for me? So if you've ever applied for a Virginia Humanities grant before, these are going to look really familiar to you. Organizations that are nonprofits recognized as 501c3s can apply. Institutions of higher education, other non-for-profits, and tribal nations recognized by the state of Virginia as well as the federal government. But what's different about these grants is you have to be located in one of the 21 school districts of the WHRO service area. I'll throw in the chat the link to those in case you're curious what they are or unfamiliar. But if you're located in one of those, you are able to apply to these grants. Go to the next slide for me. Incredible. So you're probably wondering what these grants can support. They can support lots of different things. Again, if you're familiar with Virginia Humanities grants, they can support projects with a humanities facing element. So this list is not comprehensive, but gives you an idea of some things we've supported in the past. Things like community forums, curriculum resources for teachers, festivals, exhibitions, lectures and lecture series, project planning grants if you guys are looking to start something but need the historians on the side to do it for that planning for you. Honoraria for speakers. Because if you want to go to the next slide, I'll get into the few things that we can't support. Those things are advocacy or political action. So if you're looking to support a project that's maybe going to a state legislator and advocating for a specific piece of legislation, our work cannot support that. Creative or performing arts projects, those are more of the Virginia Commission for the Arts if you're interested in those kinds of projects. But our funding can support humanities elements of those projects. So if you're thinking a talk back related to a performance you're putting on, we talk about the history, the culture related to the piece that's being performed, that's something that we could support. There's a little bit of a line there that we could work with. We can't support courses for credit except for those for teachers, international travel, awards or gifts, building construction and preservation, or alcoholic beverages. So just a few things to keep in mind as you guys are looking for things, for thinking about your different projects. All right, hey everyone. I'm going to walk us through the grant application portal today so you all can see what the portal is going to look like when you try to apply to these WHRO grants with us. So when you log into the grant portal, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to see your organization name up here, your name in the top right corner, and then you'll see any grants that you have open or previously applied to on this landing page. So this example is someone applied to a past example here, and then they have nothing open currently. So this is likely what your application portal is going to look like. And then you're going to want to go into the top left corner up here where it says See Opportunities to find the WHRO grant portal. So once you click that button, you're going to see these are open applications, and the Virginia Humanities and WHRO grants are going to be the first ones that pop up right here. So you're just going to click the Apply button. And now you're in. This is what the application looks like. Some of your organizations might have this pop up right when you open up. This is if you have a profile with Candid. It'll have information from your tax documents like your organization's total revenue or mission statement. So if you're interested in copying these, you could just click them over and it'll fill in those numbers for you already. So I'm going to have them fill in the budget information for me and just click this button here. If your organization doesn't have a profile, nothing's going to pop up for you, and you'll have the opportunity to just fill that information in as you're going through the application. So don't worry about that too much. Now, this is what the landing page looks like. You're going to see your name, your information, the organization you're applying for's information as well. And then the top here, you're going to see a couple different buttons. Like I said, if you have a Candid profile, you can click this button and copy over your organization's information there. You're also going to see a Collaborate button. So if you're interested in having someone else work on this application with you, you can click this and just type in the email or name of the person that you want to work with. And you can have them view it if you want them to read over your answers, edit and work on it with you, or fully submit it to someone who could take over the application and submit it when it's done. And then you would just click the invite button and send them on their way. All right, so now as you're scrolling through, you're going to see the questions they'll ask you here. Just a little introduction to the application, and then a tutorial if you have any questions about the grants lifecycle manager. You can click this and get fountains information, the organization who runs it. If you also have any questions, you can feel free to contact us, and we're happy to help you through the technical stuff here. We're going to start by asking bigger organization questions. First, of course, the name of your project that you're applying for, the mission statement of your organization at large. Now, for these grants, I know we talked about earlier, you have to be within WHRO's service area. So we're going to have you select which of these cities or counties your organization works with or is located in, and that will make you eligible to apply for these grants. You're going to put how much money you're requesting. So that can be up to $6,000, but it doesn't have to be $6,000. You'll only need $4,500. Put that there. And then we're going to ask for a 3 to 5 sentence summary of this project. You'll have a section later on where you can give us a much longer detailed description, but this is what we're going to use in marketing materials if you're selected as a grantee. So in summary, what this organization is doing with this money. So we want there. Here you're going to see the project types by the NEH. These aren't used in the application grading cycle, but we just like to have them for reporting to the National Endowment for the Humanities. So if any of these apply to you, if it's an oral history project, a youth project, a festival, click any and all of those for us. Similarly, you'll see the target audience language here for the NEH. If you are targeting any of these audiences, veterans, Native Americans, seniors, or undergraduate students, click those for us. It's not going to make you earn more points on the rubric or anything, but this is just for NEH reporting. We're going to ask for your start date and your end date here. I know I mentioned earlier, these grants have a budget period of July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. So these dates need to fall within that budget period. In this section, we're going to ask you for your congressional district and Senate district information. If you don't know what that is, we have this link here where you can look it up. So you'll just click it, put your address in, and click Find Now, and then your senator will come up for you. And then you can see who represents you and then what district you're looking in. And that's what we want to know is the district numbers for these 3 here. This section, we're going to ask you to list where your grant activities will be happening. So your organization might be located in one city, but then the grant activity is happening somewhere else. We just want to know where that's happening. And maybe if you have specific buildings by now, what those are. Now, so we're going to get into the narrative section. This is the longer, more wordy section here where you have the opportunity to give us the details of what your project's going to be. The first section, we're asking for a description of the funding request, so details on what the project itself is. You get up to 3,500 characters here. Then you're going to see statement of need or opportunity, so exactly why this project needs to happen and what need it's filling in your community. Measurable outcomes, we ask for up to 4 here. So if this is, say, a printed pamphlet that's going to come out at the end or a youth program that's going to happen at the end. These can be as specific or broad as you want, but these are just the things that are coming out of the grant funding period here. And the last question in this section, in the narrative section, is measuring success. So what would success look like for you? What would the project outcome be there? In this section, you can list project personnel. So anyone who has signed up to work on this project with you. This can be community partners or humanities scholars, something that we really need listed here. And our definition of humanities scholars is broad, like we have noted here. This can be a university-based professor, which is what people typically think of here, academics working at universities. But they can also be community historians, tradition bearers, anyone with expertise in the humanities field that you are looking to work with. So sometimes this is oral history, someone who's a professional oral history taker, interviewer, or someone with technical skills in the commuter program that you're going to be using. Those could count here. So in this section, you're going to list individuals, project personnel. In this section, you can list partnering organizations. So if you're collaborating with another local organization, listing them here is what you want to do. The project promotion section, we're going to have you click any and all ways that you plan to promote this project. So if you want to say website, email, print marketing, you can click a bunch of these, any and all that you would like. In the section you're going to have expected audience is going to ask for specific numbers. So if you have an in-person event and you're only doing in-person, you're going to click that, and then it'll open up and ask how many people you're expecting to have. This doesn't need to be exact. But if you say we're going to have a venue that can fit up to 100 people, we're expecting to have between 51 and 250. That's what we're going to want you to click there. In the budget section here, we've got lots of information we're asking for you. This is kind of the essential money section here. You have an explanation of what's going on here, but I'll just run through the chart itself. We're going to have you here in the expense category list what the expense is. So maybe we have Professor Smith coming in to give a talk, Professor Smith's talk. We're going to say honoraria there. And he charges, let's say, $50 an hour to speak to us. Or 50 an hour for 3 hours. So we're going to request $150 for Professor Smith. So this way we can see exactly how much money you're requesting, how you got that number, and then what it's for. And you can list, we've got quite a few spaces here for you, and this will automatically calculate all of your total requests here at the bottom. So I say 150 for that, and then I want 500 for something else. It's going to add that for me there. Now, if you have more lines than this in your project budget, feel free to upload. We have a section at the bottom here where you can add extra information or upload a file if you have an Excel file with your broken down costs there. And then here we're going to ask for your total project budget. So how is this grant fitting into your organization's entire project budget? Say the $6,000 grant is going to fit into a $500,000 larger project budget. We're looking to know where we fit in there. And then if you are seeking funds elsewhere, we can say yes here. Or no. Either way. Earlier I copied over this information from our Candid profile, but if you don't have a Candid profile, this will be here for you to just type in or change that number. And then the last section here, we've got supplemental materials. So if you have, say you're applying to redesign a project pamphlet for your organization, but you want to upload the older version to show us what it used to look like, maybe a proposed new version, you can do that here. Anything you've got that you want to make sure is included that didn't have a space in any of the areas, you can add that here. And in this last section, we're going to have your project director name and contact information, so the person who's in charge of this whole project, as well as your fiscal officer. So we do require 2 names and signatures on this document. So this is the person who's going to be organizing your grant and running the financial side of things for you. And then we're going to require 2 digital signatures. There's another explanation of the collaboration feature here. That's what I showed y'all earlier. So if I'm a project director, I would sign here, and then I would go back up to the top and click that collaborate feature, and I can invite the fiscal officer here. I can put their email in, say they can edit, and then write the little message, say, hello, can you please sign this for me? And then invite them, and then they'll get this same access. They'll see the same page here, and all they'll have to do is sign at the bottom, put their information in there. Now here at the bottom, you can hit save application and come back to it later, or you can hit submit application once you're done, and then you'll be all set to go.
So yeah, that was I know that was quite a lot. So I'm going to throw it over to Adam for any thoughts you had to maybe start some Q&A.
Yeah, so I just wanted to also point out, that we do have multiple grant programs. Throughout the year, Virginia Humanities is accepting applications. We do have smaller grants, which are rapid grants, which are for awards up to $5,000, in addition to regular grants, which are for larger projects up to $20,000. So as you look into, all these grant programs and this partnership with WHRO, and you go to our website to access this information, you're going to see these different opportunities. And if you have any more specific questions about the different grant opportunities, you can reach out to us and we can clarify that for you. But in terms of eligibility, the types of projects being funded, they're all the same alignment across all of our grant programs. So I'll put that out there. And yeah, if we want to open up to questions, again, you can unmute or raise your digital hand, and we're happy to address specific questions here about the grant program or the process.
No one has any questions yet because they haven't gotten in there to look at it. Then they're going to
Yeah.
ask questions. Um,
Yeah, I will point out, I'm going to put something in the chat here. I know sometimes, especially if you're new to seeking funds from Virginia Humanities and you're interested in seeing the types of projects that we funded, we do keep a list on our website. So I just linked to of past grantees with brief summaries of the projects that have been funded through Virginia Humanities. So that might help to look through that list. In addition, under our FAQ on our website, we we have some example applications of grantees that applicants have applied, been awarded, and then have given us permission to use their application. The application won't align exactly with the one that you might be completing through this process, but it'll help give you a sense of kind of the narrative and the type of projects that we fund.
And if you have any questions about the process about why WHR, Virginia Humanities at WHRO, please feel free to email me or give me a call. I'm actually just going to share my screen for the contact information for Katie. If you have questions about the grant application, technical questions, all of that. But if you have WHRO related questions, or you just want to talk to a local person, since I'm in Norfolk, please send me an email. I'm happy to chat about your project and before you start your grant application or in the middle before you submit it. They are due by the end of April. So this is the last call for questions. Please take down our information, and this is recorded and it will be up on the website for you to look at. Anything else from anybody on the team before we say anything?
And Kelsey, I just want to point out, I did put I answered a question in the chat about eligible project expenses. And instead of saying what we will fund, I just put the list of the types of expenses that we will not support, which include, alcohol, building construction, related activities, awards or gifts, international travel costs, indirect costs, funding courses for credit, and performing or creative arts specifically. But like Katie said, we will support projects that play a supporting role in arts activities, but not the art activity itself. So hopefully that helps.
Well, we're really glad that you all joined us today. So feel free to be in touch and we hope that you all apply. Okay, great. Thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.